Good adventures, everybody. I'm Melissa Bonsack, and welcome to the 100th episode of Books Cubed. I am so excited to have you joining us today. I am joined by my sometimes co-host, Terri M. Colica, and she is going to introduce our special guest today.
Okay, our special guest today is Mariah Sinclair. And I am just so excited. I've always wanted to meet her, and she has a nickname, I think, the Cozy Mystery Cover Lady. And but that's not all she does. But she is the best cover artist around. And I have tried several times to get some of her pre-mades, and someone always beats me out. So I'm very excited to have you here. And let's just start off by saying, how long have you been doing this, and how did you get into this, Mariah?
Yeah, I have been officially doing book covers since, I hung my shingle out on my door for book covers January 2017. However, I started playing around with book covers the year previous, just kind of on the side, wanted to see if it was a good fit. I've had a lot of failed businesses. And so I kind of just tipped my toe in a little bit and checked out the market, made sure there was enough room for another cover designer before I jumped in completely. Prior to that, I did a lot of different careers in the early aughts, and before that, I was a graphic designer, though, and I worked for a magazine. And when I was 28, I left that and wanted to try other careers, which was a big mistake. And then came back, settled back home in 2017 to book cover design, and I'm really, really happy I did. This has been beyond fulfilling. And successful. That's also good.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm always excited when I see a good cover designer. The one thing that makes me absolutely nuts, I spend a lot of my time looking for books to read for authors to interview on the show here.
Yeah.
And I've kind of gotten to the point where I have people recommend books because so often the covers, I can't get past the covers. There's just so many bad covers, and it's a shame because there's so many good books out there that have bad covers. Mm-hmm. So what makes a good cover?
The first thing a cover really needs to do is to represent the genre of the story and the tone of the story accurately. The thing is like readers know what books they like to read. There are a few readers that will read anything, but that's actually a rarity, right? You sound like one of those that any book comes your way that seems interesting. You don't care what genre it is, just as long as it's a good read. And a lot of those people become authors. But when you look at the bulk of readers who don't write, they just enjoy reading, for the most part, they've niched into a couple of different genres that they love reading, especially your super fans. Those people are genre addicts, if you will. Your cover, you want to attract those super fans. So your cover is bait to attract them. So it needs to clearly show what genre it is. No guessing. So that reader who's going to love that book, it sparkles and they see it and they grab it. So that's the main thing. Then there's just overall quality. Your quality of your book cover will help imply quality on the inside, that it's been edited, that it's been well developed, that it's interesting. So just having a high quality cover is a way of showing that there's quality on the inside. It's your handshake. It's your, like I in one of my presentations, I say, would you wear pajamas to a job interview? It's your one chance. And you wouldn't wear pajamas to a job interview unless it's Zoom and you're dressed up from the half up. But pre-pandemic, you would never think about dressing and wearing your workout clothes to a job interview or your pajamas. Having a good cover is like wearing a suit, being professionally dressed for your interview with a potential reader.
Well, I have a question. I know that you, excuse me, you do custom covers and you do pre-mades.
Mhm.
Which do you prefer from
Um,
the artist's point of view?
Pre-mates. Uh,
Why is
so,
that? I love your pre-mades, but why is that?
oh gosh, pre-mates to me are magical. Um, First off, a pre-made doesn't have like any compromise with it. Where when I'm working with an author on a custom, it is their vision, it is their story, it is their title. You know, I'm working within their confines of whatever story they've written. With a pre-made, the concept came out of my head. So I'm in sense both the client and the designer. If I can't find, like, let's say I have a great idea for something that involves like a cute vampire girl in a coffin, you know, a little illustration. Let's say I can't find stock to fit my vision. Well, then I drop that vision. I go on to the next idea. Where if it's a client that needs that cute little vampire girl, I can't just give up. Like I have to keep searching. I need to either draw it myself. You know, there's a lot of other things that need to happen. I can't move on to the next idea. With pre-mades, if I get stuck, I just move on to the next idea and maybe drop that one completely. The other thing, and this is just, I don't know why it's so thrilling for me. I love that my pre-mates are inspiring you, the buyer, to write something. For the most part, I would say 80 to 90% of my pre-mates are purchased pre-story, meaning the cover is informing the story and they're going to write a story to match the cover. That synergy, that like cycle of creativity is thrilling to me, you know. And then if you know, when it gets published, cross fingers that the author completes it and publishes it, and then I get to see generally my title, my concept, their story climb up the charts. Like that's super thrilling, and I feel a little bit more a part of the creative process that I was a little bit of a spark before. That warms my heart. Like that's awesome. And so it's that kind of energy that's a little bit harder to get with a custom, because it was the author's idea. It was their, you know, I'm not that big of player in it. I may still make a fabulous cover that helps sell the book, but it's not my title, it's not my hook, it's not my, you know. So yeah, I do like pre-mades.
And you do something, there's a lot of people out there that make pre-mades, but you do something different. You have a title, an original title for every single pre-made. Most places they have 2 or 3 titles that they cycle over and over on each book, but yours are all original.
For the most part. I do not search to make sure it's original on Amazon, but I try really hard not to repeat my titles on pre-mades. I did last sale, and one of the women who bought a pre-made from 3 years ago that had the same title, she pinged me. She let me know that I repeated a title. So it was simple enough. I came up with something really quick, changed it out, you know, changed the preview image. So only a few people even saw it with that original title. So I don't, you know, I've designed, I think I'm at 1,000 book covers total. I think I'm like at 800 pre-mades or something. I mean, numbers that high, I can't count. I stopped counting. But after like, we're up there. I am up there, whether it's 500, 800, or 1,000 pre-mades that I've designed. It's a lot of titles. It's a lot, like I've kind of started to run out of them, but it's a lot to keep track of. So, you know, slip ups like that happen. If an author pings me and lets me know, I'll substitute something else in there. Like, but I'm not going to put heavy pressure on me to like research and go, did I ever use this title before? It's just too many to go through.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, if someone comes to you and they want you to create a title, create a cover for them, what are some of the things that they need to bring to you so that you can create something that'll match their book?
Sure. So the first most important thing is genre. I have pretty much niched and I am in cozy. So it's cozy. So if it's just within cozy, I need to know, is it a paranormal cozy? Do we have witches? Do we have magic, ghosts? Or is it straight isn't the right word, traditional cozy, non-paranormal cozy? I need to know that because that's going to really inform my color palette. I make a lot of color choices based on if something is paranormal or not. Tone, is this humorous? Is it not? Is it more serious? This art style, especially since we're dealing with cozy, we've got a couple of different art styles that are really popular in cozy covers right now. And that's vector, which is kind of what some people call cartoony, but it has the smooth, clean lines. And can look actually quite sophisticated, especially if you deal with like the 1920s cozies. Those are all vectors and they look very sophisticated, but people like calling it cartoony. And then we have photo-based, especially with animals. And Lou Harper is really a popular cozy designer who does that style. I do it too. We have lately, we've been having photographs of women with surprised looks on their face and a cake. And that's really popular. So as an author, you need to let me know what style you like, because that's a big decision. It's really on personal preference. If you want my insight onto what's popular or what is a best fit for your story, I'm happy to give you that insight. But it is really helpful if an author knows what kind of art style they want, because that's hard to change midstream. You know, if I design something in vector and then you decide after the first proofs that you've decided you want a photo-based cover, that's really, we're starting over from scratch. Like that's not tweaking. So title, if you'd like the character on the cover, I'd like to know what that character looks like. And authors skip over this often. They will tell me all about the personality, and I will throw a quirky girl on there with a chef's hat or whatever. And then it comes back and goes, oh, no, she's a brunette, not a blonde. I'm like, oh, that's a beginning note, not a after the proof note, you know? And sometimes the author doesn't care. Like they haven't done a defined script description of them. Totally fine. Let them know. Didn't put a description in the book. You've got free range to design whatever chef you want. But if you have, let me know. Same with dog breeds, cat breeds. If you have specifically done that, the important part is to maybe not get too attached on what it looks like, because sometimes it's what stock I can find. But if you tell me blonde hair, blue eyes, if you tell me Siamese cat, okay, we got it, Location. The location's an important role. That's very true with cozies. A lot of times it's in, Northeastern Bay or Charleston, South Carolina, or that could inform some of the background choices I make, because all those areas look different. The UK looks different than Charleston, looks different than San Francisco, so those will inform some of my decisions when designing the cover.
Well, let me ask you a question about, do you have anything in between? For example, I know what I would like from one of your pre-mades, which sold. So if I said, I want something like that, and I trust you to do it, actually, it's more like a custom, because you're not actually putting that out there on one of your pre-made sale days.
Right.
So do you ever do anything like that?
Well, that would be officially a custom order. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm currently booked out for customs, so I'm not taking on new ones, but what you're mentioning is really great when you're working with a designer, is to make sure you like things in their portfolio, whether it's their pre-made store or their portfolio, mm-hmm. because that helps you pick the right designer. So it's great if you like a few pieces and go, I love this cover you designed for this person. And if you can get specific, like I really like the colors in this one, or I really like the typography, that really helps us too, if we know what you really like. Or I just like the overall vibe, but if you can get specific, that helps. The other thing to keep in mind, I'm not going to copy that cover exactly.
Right.
Because that's their branding.
Sure.
And I recommend when you're shopping for cover designers, it's important you like their style, but it's also important you see a variety of looks and that their covers look branded for that author. And I see a lot of newer cover designers, and it concerns me that some of their stuff looks too similar for different authors. And, that's something that I really tried to do, is to create a unique brand for every series. So it looks like they belong to each other, but it doesn't look like it belongs to someone else.
Right.
So kind of keep that in mind when you're shopping for a cover designer and looking at their portfolios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about, I think we wanted to know a little bit about Vella, because I see that you're putting on your Facebook page some round covers that are Vella.
Yeah.
Oh, and anybody who does not know about Vella, anyone in the audience, Vella is, I don't know as much as some people, it is a new episodic series. You read series, but in episodes. You read episodes of series and you pay coins. It's like Radish or Wattpad. There's some other ones out there like this. So Amazon is jumping into these serials, and a lot of authors are getting ready. They'll be starting sometime in June, I believe. And if you are looking at doing this, you need to have 10 episodes up before it goes live, or they've said that they will hide anything that does not have 10 episodes because they want people jumping in and reading.
Right.
And then you want to make sure that you have that you either weekly or daily or bi-weekly or whatever, but you always publish when those readers are expecting it. But it's not book covers, it's a round graphic without any text on it. So you don't have the title to grab them. It's got the image has to grab them. So are you involved in the Vella images?
Yeah. So I think Vella is really interesting, and I'm just trying to support people that want to be a part of the launch. I don't know if this is something I will continue to do after. I just kind of wanted to help those that are feeling that inspiration and wanting to jump in the beginning. I'm kind of jumping in on the beginning too, and we'll see where it all leads. There's a lot of people that are wondering if this is going to be good for cozy authors or not. I mean, it's definitely not going to be good if you don't participate. You know what I mean? If there aren't any cozies there in the beginning, well, then it's definitely probably not going to be good for cozies. However, if there are cozies there in the beginning, you could unlock new readership. You could unlock a potentially younger readership. Mystery is universal. How many of us started with Nancy Drew? How many of us, right?
Exactly.
So I'm telling cozy authors, and I know you guys have a wider audience than cozy authors, but this is my specialty. So I'm going to speak to what I know, but I'm telling cozy authors, like, the way to make it fail is to not participate for cozy, like 100%. So for those who are interested, I'm trying to provide covers. We do not have the titles, and titles, I have a little class about cozy covers on my site, and I spend half of the class talking about cozy titles, because one of the reasons we have such a strong variety in art styles and cover styles and even cover quality, to be frank, is because the hook for readers is the title. Well, what do you do when the title isn't there to hook? I mean, it'll be right next to the image, but are they going to see it first? I don't know what a page of Vella options looks like. I have seen an author's page who has multiple stories started and the title's right next to it, but I do not know, as a new reader, what it looks like when you sign in and say, I'm interested in reading about mysteries. Are you just going to see a bunch of dots, like a bunch of circles? We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns. So what I have done is I have really upped the danger aspect of cozy, which means I've integrated a lot more skulls. Or I've also looked at paranormal, because I think paranormal will be big. Magic is really prominent. So I've tried to take those little things that might be integrated on a typical cozy cover Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, and have really moved. Like I've got a picnic basket with a crow on top of it. Actually, I think it's a raven with a raven on top of it. So it's like this happy scene, but something's a little off, that little bit of raven death, you know? So that's what I'm trying to do, is integrate those little off things visually. So, and very much in the center, there aren't a lot of details. It's like one concept, it's immediate, relying heavily on the vector style of artwork, because that is so popular with cozies. We'll see. I just want to support authors who are curious too and want to jump in and want something high quality.
I guess the startup is in June, right? Which is pretty close.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize it was that soon. So Melissa was giving me information there.
I think I'm right. From what I've been reading, it sounds like sometime in June. Okay. And I thought I still had several months. And then
I thought you did too.
Some group, I don't know, one of the groups I'm in, they were like, oh, it's June. It's supposed to be June. It's like, okay, they haven't said that on Amazon yet, but
yeah,
they're always tight-lipped.
That might be kind of a whisper campaign, and they may shift that depending on the content. So I launched the cover designer directory to help authors find designers. And it is interesting when you're trying to launch things with two audiences, you know, and you need the content. So I needed a lot of designers on there before I could invite authors to come take a look. And so I understand that when you're like launching something, Amazon needs to make sure that there are a ton of authors with 10 episodes on there. So they might do this might be a little like rumor thing, June, but it's not published because they want to make sure they've got 10,000 authors with 10 episodes before they officially launch, or whatever their metric is at launch, because they can't have something empty.
Right.
They can't launch an empty store.
10 episodes is just a rumor. I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere on Amazon that I'm aware. But one of the groups that I was in just a few days ago, they were talking about, if you don't have 10, Amazon will hide your story until you have 10.
Right. Right. So these might be whisper campaigns that Amazon's putting out because this is what they're desiring, but they're not publishing it because they don't want to scare people off. But I could see Amazon being very smart and having a few representatives being in these big places and, 10 episodes, June. Pass it on.
Yeah. Don't do any tricky things like that.
Yeah. But they can back up and go, no, it's August. Where did you hear June? That wasn't on our website. Yeah. It's August and it's 5 episodes,
Yeah.
So they can backtrack it.
What about it looks like you've got quite a few Vella pre-made, are you going to have a pre-made Vella day?
I am this weekend.
Yeah.
So, Saturday or Sunday. I haven't picked the time. I will let it know. I'm preloading them onto my site right now, and we'll probably make a decision on the time in the next 24 hours. I wanted to try to have 50. I don't know. There was I'm at 37 right now, but as I was reviewing some of my first ones, I'm like, I'm not sure I'm happy with that quality. So I think it dropped to like 32. Well, it fluctuates a little bit as I'm doing this, but my goal is to have 50 on this weekend. Well,
we will have links in the show notes for all you authors who need Vella covers. Yeah. We'll have a link and we'll send them to your website.
Yeah, you can go to the Vella covers will be on the covervault.com. And that's my pre-made site. You can always go to mariahsinclair.com too, which links you to all the good stuff. That's maybe easier to remember.
Yeah, we'll have all those there. And this is great. And I was really excited to talk to you, especially like I said at the start, because covers are so important. There was something not too long ago where they talked about they had people looking through something that tracked their eye movements. And they said, see, the description is so important because they spend all the time in the description. Yeah, but they wouldn't get to the description if the cover didn't entice them. So they can say all they want that the cover isn't as important as the description. The cover is the most important thing about your book.
It is the foundation of your marketing. It is the foundation of your marketing. It is that I don't think readers probably want to be referred to as fish. However, the cover is that bait. That's what's attracting. And you use different bait to fish in different areas to attract different types of fish. And that's where your genres come in. Right. And so just think of it as the cover. And that's that first sparkle they see. Then they dive in the description. Without that first part, that first hook, then everything else just kind of falls apart. And that's why I say it's really that foundation. I wouldn't pay for ads with a bad cover. You're just throwing, good money after bad. It's just that foundation, and a faulty foundation isn't going to leave you. I can mix so many analogies right here. I've got fish living in houses with hooks everywhere, but
yeah. And I also want to point out too, and I think I've mentioned this before on the show, do not try to be different. I run into a lot of first-time authors and I did it too when I started. I want to be different because my book will be different, and it'll catch the eye. And no, they will go past it and not look, because it does not tick off the boxes for what they want to see and what they want to read. That's why covers are so important.
Yep. Your North Star should be readers know what books they like to read, and they know what those covers look like. Yep. It respects the story. It respects the readers. Genre matching is about respect. It's not about selling out. It's not about copycats. It's about respecting readers and respecting your story.
Yes, most definitely. We have anything else, Terri?
No, I had about 20 questions, and I think we sort of covered everything. And I
can
talk a lot, Terri. I'm sorry.
No, that's
go.
It's all good stuff. So we wanted you to just roll with it. Yeah.
Well, when are you thinking about, just for those people who may not be doing Vella, but they want another pre-made, cover day? Are you thinking about
I'm hoping maybe for July. I have been creatively blocked since last fall on pre-mades, to be honest. The Vellas have really helped lubricate my creativity. So even if none of them sell, they helped me get back into this headspace I needed to get into. So I think I'm ready to make pre-mades again. And I'm hoping to maybe have something, it'd be maybe a little smaller, like 100 covers. If anyone who knows me knows I'm known for like 200 and 300 cover releases. It probably won't be that big. It'd probably be something closer to 100. And maybe in July, let's aim for July, maybe.
Good. I've got something to look forward to. And I think we've all sort of been blocked. But don't you feel some hope right now? It seems like things are opening up, and the juices will flow, and for authors. And
it's been a rough year.
Yeah, it has
been a rough year. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Tell everybody one more time how they can find you, and if you have a mailing list for when you do new releases.
Sure. You can find the best place to connect with all of my places is mariahsinclair.com. And for pre-mades, you'll see a button there that says the shop. It will take you to my pre-made store on a different website, and you can sign up for my newsletter right there. And I also have a little video, a 30-minute video you can sign up and watch that talks about cozy covers and cozy titles if you're interested in learning more about that.
Oh, fantastic. I want to thank you both for coming on today. And anybody who's interested in covers, Vella, or for your cozy mysteries, I will have links in the show notes for everything that we have talked about today. And this has been so great. Thank you both for coming on my 100th show.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited about that. And all you listeners, thank you for joining us today. And I will be back next week with another great show. And in the meantime, go read a good book.